Shalom, shalom. We continue in Maseches Taanis. We are on Daf Hey Amud Aleph, and we are starting the next Mishnah as we plow our way through this incredible Masechta. And this Amud has quite a few psukim. This is a Tanakh Amud, and we're going to take a journey through several books of Tanakh and several things. The more you know about Tanakh, the easier this Amud will be for you. And of course, not that you need any better incentive to learn Tanakh, but if you know Tanakh, you will be able to learn Gemaras like this much, much easier. And with that, let's get right into the Mishnah. Ad masai shoalin es hagishamim. Until when do we ask for rain? Meaning, say, how long do we say v'sein talam machal levracha? Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, Ad shi'avora Pesach, until Pesach has passed. Now, we quoted from this Mishnah on the previous Amud, and we had a discussion what he means by Pesach here, and whether this contradicts the Rabbi Yehuda that we have in the first Mishnah on Beis Amud Aleph. For more information on that, see yesterday's Amud. One of the answers that I particularly liked was that the Pesach here doesn't mean the Yontif of Pesach, but the Karban Pesach. But it seems like the conclusion of the Gemara was that Ula's explanation was most likely, that these are two different understandings of Rav Yehuda's opinion brought down by two different students who understood him differently. So that is Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir Omer, Rabbi Meir says, Ad sheyatza Nisan, until Nisan is over. Shenamar, as it says, Vayored lachem geshem, that rain fell down for them, Yoreh umalkush barishon, the early and late rains during Rishon, the first. What's the first? The first month. At the pasuk in Yoel. So right in the Mishnah, we have our first pasuk. Amar le Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak. In the Gemara, Rav Nachman said to Rav Yitzchak, Yoreh ben Nisan? Is it possible that the early rain falls in Nisan? No, Yoreh b'mar Cheshvan. The early rain falls in Cheshvan. Cheshvan is at the very beginning of the rainy season. So the early rain doesn't fall all the way down in Nisan. No, we want the Yoreh. We want Yoreh to be in the beginning of the season. Titzanan, as we learned in a brisa, which probably should say Detanya, but nevertheless we go on. Yoreh b'mar Cheshvan, umalkush b'Nisan. That Yoreh, the early rain falls in Cheshvan, and the later rain, the malkush, falls in Nisan. So Amar le Rav Yitzchak said to him, Hachi Amar Rav Yochanan. This is what Rav Yochanan said. And Rabbi Yochanan is going to give the following explanation. And remember, Rabbi Yochanan was one of the big rabbis in Eretz Yisrael. Bimei Yoel ben Petuel, Niskayim Mikrazeh. During the days of Yoel, the son of Petuel, this pasuk was fulfilled. That Yoel ben Petuel was the prophet Yoel, who was one of the Trei Asar, the 12 prophets that we have in the Nevi'im. Tichsiv Bey, and this is what it says about it. Yeser hagezem achal ha'arbe, that the remaining gezem, which are a type of locust, achal ha'arbe, the arbe, another type of locust, they ate it. The arbe ate the gezem, and the pasuk goes on to say that the yelek ate the arbe, and the chasil ate the yelek, and these are all different types of locusts. The one ate the next because there was no food and they were so hungry that the locusts were just eating themselves. So what's the explanation? Osa Shna, that year, Yatza Adar v'lo yardu geshamim. Adar came and went, and there was no rain. Adar is around Purim, obviously, and it's very late in the rainy season, right before Nisan or before Pesach, and the beginning of spring. The rainy season had almost entirely passed, and there was no rain. Yarda lehem revia rishona be'achad, and finally, the very first early rains fell on Echad b'Nisan, on the first of Nisan, on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Amr lahem navi liYisrael. So the prophet said to Israel, Tzu'u v'zaru, now go out and sow your fields. Take your grain and spread it around. Now the way that the seeds are planted is what you have to do is you have to take grain, which is food, the little food you have, and spread it among your fields. Now the people are scared because they want to have what to eat. They want to be able to eat. They want to feed their children. They don't want to take the last of their grain, throw it on the ground on the first of Nisan just to have it go bad. That's a very big wasteful thing. You want to save your food. You want to eat. So Amrullah, they said to the prophet, if someone has a certain kav, which is a measurement of wheat, or two kav of barley, shouldn't he eat them and stay alive? Or should he sow them and die? Amr lahem, so the Navi said to them, Afal Piken, even though you're right in your thinking, Tzu'u v'ziru, go and plant and sow your field. Na'asa lahem nes, and there was a miracle that happened for them. V'nizgala lahem ma shebaktalim. They found extra food hidden in the walls. Uma shebechori nemalim, and also the food that was hidden and stored away in anthills. Yatzu v'zaru sheni v'shlishi v'rvi. So they went, they sowed their field on the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th of Nisan. V'yarda lahem revia shniya b'chamisha b'Nisan. And the second rain fell for them on the 5th of Nisan. Hakrivu omer b'shisha asar b'Nisan. And they offered the omer, which is a sacrifice of wheat, b'shisha asar b'Nisan, on the 16th of Nisan. So 11 days. It grew. The whole plant grew in 11 days. Nimtes tvua hagdila b'shisha chadashim. It was found that grain, which normally grows in 6 months, gedila b'achar asar yom. It actually grew in only 11 days. Nimtes omer hakrev mitzvua shel shisha chadashim, and the omer, which is usually offered from grain which takes 6 months, karev mitzvua shel achar asar yom. It was brought from grain which grew in only 11 days. Va'al also hadar omer, and on that generation, the following pasuk, it says the following in Tehillim: Hazorim b'dimah birina yiktzoru, that they plant with dima, with tears, birina, with singing, yiktzoru. They will reap their field. Halach yelechu vacho, they go and they walk and they cry. Nosei meshech hazor, carrying the valuable seeds, and the pasuk goes on to say, Nosei meshech hazara. The pasuk ends. Oh my gosh, I don't recall exactly how the pasuk ends, but it ends by saying that they will no say alumosav. They will carry their big bundles of wheat, basically. So this pasuk, which talks about planting and crying, ends with picking out the crops and being happy. That was applying to that generation. We go on in the Gemara. What is the meaning of that pasuk? Another explanation. Amud Rav Yehuda says, sure, that an ox, when he is plowing, he goes and he's crying. But when he returns, he eats from the stubble from the furrow. So the zehu, and that is the meaning of ba yavo berina, that he will come and return with song or with happiness. Because the ox, obviously, when he goes to plow, he's not happy, he's crying. But when he comes back and has the food to eat, he's very happy. My nose alumosav. What does it mean carrying his bundles of wheat? Amar Rav Chizda says Amri Lav Masisatana, and some say we learn this in a Mishnah. Kaneh zeres shiboles zartayim. That one stalk was a zeres, which is a hand length long. That's how one stalk of wheat was that big. V'shiboles, and the ear of wheat was zartayim, was 2 hand lengths long. So this was abnormally large wheat. Not only it grew so quickly, but it was also very big and very blessed food. Amalei Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak, Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak. My dichsiv, what's the meaning of the following pasuk? Ki kara Hashem l'ra'av v'gam ba el haaretz sheva shanim. That Hashem has decreed a famine for the world, which will come to the land for 7 years. This is what Elisha says to the woman who, if you know the story in Malachim Beis, where she had a son. He gave her the bracha. She had a son. She was childless until then, and the son died, and he brought the son back to life. So he tells this to the woman, that the land, I have to leave now, but the land is going to have a famine for 7 years. Make sure you prepare for this horrible famine. So what did they eat? What did the people because clearly they survived. Some people survived the famine. Well, what did they actually eat for 7 years? They must have something. Amar Leis, Rav Yitzchak explained, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. This is Rabbi Yochanan, what Rabbi Yochanan said in answer to that question. Shana Rishona Achlu Masha Babatim. The first year they ate what they had in their house. Shnia Achlu Masha Basados. The second year they ate what they had in the fields. Shlisha Basar Behema Tahora. In the third year they ate the meat, the flesh of tahor, of kosher animals. Revi'is Basar Behema Tamean. The fourth year they ate tamei animals. Chamishis Basar Shkatzim Vermasim. The sixth year they ate the flesh of little disgusting bugs. Shishis Basar B'nei Muvnoseim. On the sixth year they ate the flesh of their sons and daughters. And Shvi'is Basar Zaro Osehem. On the seventh year they ate the flesh of their own arms, l'kayim mashenemar, to fulfill that which the pasuk says, ish b'sar zero'o yochilu, man will eat the flesh of his own arm. That's from a pasuk in Yeshayahu Perek Tes. Whoever's keeping track of how many pasukim we have in this Amud, add another one up for the number. Rav Nachman said to Rav Yitzchak, "My dichsiv, what's the meaning of that which is written? B'kirbecha kadosh v'lo avo ba'ir. There is something holy in your city, and I will not enter. There is something holy in your midst, and I will not enter the city." So the question is, Mishum de b'kirbecha kadosh v'lo avo ba'ir. Is it because something holy in your city, therefore I won't enter the city? That doesn't make any sense. So Amr Lei Rav Yitzchak said to him, Hachi Amr Rabbi Yochanan. This is Rabbi Yochanan's explanation. Amr Kadosh Baruch Hu, that Hashem said, Vo avo b'Yerushalayim shamala ad she'avo Yerushalayim shamata. I will not enter the Yerushalayim of heaven until I enter the Yerushalayim of earth. The Yerushalayim shamala versus the Yerushalayim shel mata. Or miyika Yerushalayim lamala. Is there really a Yerushalayim in heaven? Yes, there is. Dichsiv, as it says, Yerushalayim habnuya ke'ir shechovra la yachtav. That the rebuilt Yerushalayim is like a city that was joined together. So it implies that there's another Yerushalayim which is joined to Yerushalayim, and that makes Yerushalayim built. That is the explanation, that there's Yerushalayim shel mala and a Yerushalayim shel mata. Interesting to note in this context that really the name of Yerushalayim is not exactly Yerushalayim, but sometimes it's just Yerushalayim. And that's why in English we say Jerusalem, because that's Jerusalem, Yerushalayim. So why do we call it Yerushalayim? Because Yerushalayim is plural. Yerushalayim is singular. And Yerushalayim implies two Yerushalems. And that is one explanation of that language, is that there's the Yerushalayim shel mala and the Yerushalayim shel mata. What's the meaning of the pasuk? In one thing they are stupid and foolish, and musar hevalim eitzu, that the wisdom of the stupid are just wood, is eights. Amalei said, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. This is what Rabbi Yochanan said. These are just explanations of Rabbi Yochanan to a bunch of these psukim. Achasi shemav aras v'sham beGehenim. There's one thing that burns wicked people in Gehenna. Maihi, and what is it? Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah is the main cause of people why they get burnt and punished in Gehenna. Ksiv hacha, it says over here, Musar hevalim heitzu. At the musar, the advice of hevalim, of vanities, is eights. And pay attention to that word hevalim. Ukasiv hasam, and it says over there, hevel hema ma'aseh ta'atuim. That it is hevel, it is vanity, the actions of ta'atuim, of their deceit, their deceptions, which is a reference to idolatry in the book of Yirmiyahu. Another pasuk to add to the count, whoever's keeping track. Rav Nachman said to Rav Yitzchak, "My dichsiv, what is the meaning of the pasuk which says, Ki shtayim raos asu ami, that my nation did two raos, did two evils. Shtayim raos asami, two evils my nation did. Tartin hu dahava, were there only two sins that they committed? Estrin v'arva shvikalu, there are really 24. So what were the 24 sins? Well, in Yecheskel Perek Chav Beis, their list there, 24 averos. You can go and take a look and see the full list. Included in those averos was not loving or not treating widows and orphans properly, taking bribes, murder, idolatry, violating Shabbos, and a bunch of other things. So lots of 24 total averos are mentioned there. Another explanation brought down by Rashi is that maybe this is referring to the 24 books of Tanakh, and what it means is that the Jews violated all 24 books of Tanakh and everything that's written in them, and that was the bad thing. Either way, definitely not just two averos. It wasn't the case they only did two things wrong. There was a list. There was like a whole list of things that they did wrong. So what's the meaning of the pasuk, which says in Yirmiyah that they did shtayim raos asuimi, that they did asu ami, that my nation did two things wrong? Amr lahu, so he said to him, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan, this is how Rabbi Yochanan explained it. Achas shehi Shkulak Shtaim. They did one thing which is as bad as two things. Remind me who and what was that? What were what is that one thing that is equal to two things? Avodah Zarah. That's Avodah Zarah, idol worship. It says, Ki Shtayim Ra'os Asa Ami. My nation did two evils. Also, Azvu Mikor Mayim Chaim. They've rejected me, the source of living water. Lachsov Lahem Be'eros Nishbarim. In order to carve out for themselves a bunch of broken jugs. Uksiv Bahu, and it's also written about them. Ki Avru Iyi Katiyim Varu Kedar. When you go and pass the islands of the Kutiyim, and you see, and you send to Kedar, which is another nation, you should think about that a lot. Ma'od, hisbonenu, ma'od. Hitbonain also could mean to meditate on it a lot, and hitbonenut is a term that's used a lot in Kabbalah, in the philosophers, and all throughout Jewish literature as a word that means meditation. So here might also mean, in Tanakh and Yirmiyahu, might also mean to meditate. To meditate about what? Ha'hemir goy Elohim v'hem aloh Elohim. To see whether a nation ever rejects their own God, even though they don't serve anything which is really a God. V'ami hemir gvodo v'lo yo'il. But my nation has rejected my honor for something which doesn't even help. And this is all from the pasuk in psukim in Yirmiyahu. So Atana taught the following: Kutim ovdin le'esh, that the Kutim would serve fire. The Kedarim ovdin lamayim, but the Kedarim served water. Even though they knew that water extinguishes fire, lo hemiru Elohehem, they did not exchange their gods to go to the more powerful God. But my nation has exchanged service of me, meaning service of Hashem, for something which does not help, to gods of brick, wood, and stone. So altogether, that is the Mishnah. This the Gemara. This final piece is kind of reminiscent of the very famous story of Avraham when he meets the king who wants him to worship the idols. He said, "Why do you worship the fire? You should worship water because water puts out fire." Okay, fine. Why do you worship water? You should worship the clouds. Water comes from the clouds. And in this train of logic, he kind of walked him through how ridiculous idolatry is. And very similar story, and this is how some people interpret it, is the song of Chad Gadya, that the Gadya, the goat, which was eaten by the cat, which was bit by the dog, which was hit by the stick, and so on, all the way until we get to Hashem, is our polemic against Egyptian idolatry, because as we know, they served sheep. So it's us telling them the same thing. Why do you serve sheep? You should serve the cat. And if you believe really you should serve the cat, you should serve the dog. And if you don't, the dog, you should serve the stick, and so on until we get all the way back to Hashem. You should serve the God of the universe, back to the real thing. And that is the explanation. This Gemara is kind of reminiscent of that entire area of Jewish thinking. Okay, I hope that was clear. We will continue tomorrow with Hayam and Base. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day.